Russia unleashed a massive wave of missile and drone attacks across Ukraine on Wednesday, targeting the country's energy infrastructure in a bid to knock out electricity in several cities. The Institute for the Study of War, a Washington-based think tank, says this is the fifth time in less than 2 months Russia has launched a wide-scale attack targeting Ukraine's power grid. Joining us now from Ukraine is journalist Ilya Ponomarenko. He's a former defense and security reporter at the Kyiv Post and a co-founder of the Kyiv Independent. He has covered the war in Ukraine since its beginning and is the author of the new book, out now, titled I Will Show You How It Was, the story of wartime Kyiv. Ilya, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate it. Something in your book really stood out and struck me, where you said Ukraine has been fundamentally changed over the last decade, but particularly over the last couple of years of this full-scale invasion of Russia, the civilian casualties we've seen just even in the last couple of days, again, attacking the energy infrastructure in major Ukrainian cities. How do you describe that change you've seen in yourself, perhaps, and in the people of Ukraine?
It is absolutely true, and I keep telling this anywhere I go, that Ukraine from, let's say, 2014 and Ukraine right now, or Ukraine from 2019 and Ukraine right now, 2024, are absolutely different countries in so many regards. Culturally, we have become a nation of our own, which is very separated from the cultural field of Russia, for instance. It's a nation that in which people from East or from the West finally have a big story of their of the common legacy, of the common heritage, the big grief that unites them, truly unites them. It's not that we are that different, Ukrainians from the East or from the West, but right now our generation has this big story of war, of common struggle, of a common loss, of something that unites us for the sake of saving our common home. Ukraine is absolutely different in terms of its political life. It's absolutely different from what it used to be, like a bad copy of Russia in terms of unfree political system, lack of free speech, lack of activity from inside the society, the lack of initiative from the society. I'm not saying the Ukrainian system is ideal now, but at the same time, there has been understanding and sentiment of Ukrainian people taking its destiny in its hands and dictating authorities, taking charge of many things that happen in Ukraine, opposing negative tendencies in this country, corruption, abuse of power, illegal activities in the legal aspect of this country. So this is so different, but the biggest difference is, of course, this sense of unity and sense of becoming a nation that wants to be independent, that appreciates to be independent, that has produced a lot of cultural, civilizational things for its own, that is exclusively Ukrainian, that is understood by Ukrainians. So in many ways, we have become the nation, the true nation in so many aspects amid the decade of this war, and especially this great loss and great grief of full-scale Russian invasion is, of course, a uniting factor. Ukrainians are now united as never before, and they are a nation as unique as never before.
Ilya, as you're speaking, we're looking at some images from Friday in Kharkiv. We were looking at before images from Kyiv from 2 years ago. But as you write in the book, the wartime story of Kyiv is an ongoing one. This is something that you all live with every single day. We, for 2.5 years now, have lauded almost every day on this show and across our country the bravery, the courage, the will, the fighting spirit that the Ukrainian people have shown. But my gosh, it has to be difficult every single day, living in Kyiv even still. So what is it like on a granular level for a family or for working people just to go through the day under the threat of attack?
An important part of human nature is that humans can adapt to pretty much anything if they have to, especially if they feel motivated and if they are pretty effective at, countering of what's coming against them, such as this war. People have adapted. We have adapted to so many things that have changed our daily lives, such as power outages, missile attacks, shelling, and I'm talking about more or less peaceful cities like Kiev, for instance, who that are more or less well protected. People do adapt to things. For instance, if we lack electricity, and that was especially true in the first winter of invasion with massive blackouts and power outages, we had our means, we had our technical things like energy savers, energy batteries that are so widespread right now, power generators too. When it comes to usual things like security, people adapt to this by trying to combine security measures with usual business and life activities, such as restaurants or pubs or cafes, working in basement venues, so that you can provide security for your customers and also keep making money, keep providing jobs and paying taxes. These are so many things that people have to adapt. One of the most important things is that this war has become part of harsh reality, but at the same time, it's also filled with a lot of things that inspire people, upset people. But in general, the system works. People keep finding their ways for normal life. In many ways, thanks to the exceptional valor of the Ukrainian military and the assistance from outside Ukraine, we have a pretty peaceful life in most of the territory of Ukraine, such as Kiev, for instance, or Lviv. And thanks to this, many people have this ability to go on with their lives, to do their work, pay taxes and keep the country afloat and avoid this societal collapse that would greatly facilitate Russia's war against this country. People adapt to things. When it comes to psychology and mental effects on this, of course, this is especially hard right now for places like Kharkiv. Kharkiv is really having a bad time right now, as Russians have concentrated strikes on this particular city. But at the same time, we have a lot of voices from Kharkiv, for instance, saying that, yeah, things are pretty bad. We have little to no electricity, but still, we do not want to leave. We are here to stay. They feel motivated.
The excerpt that appears in the Atlantic of this book is titled, "Ukraine Has Changed Too Much to Compromise with Russia Now." And the new book is titled, "I Will Show You How It Was, The Story of Wartime Kyiv." Ilya Ponomarenko, thank you so much for sharing this story. Thank you for your ongoing courage in covering it and for the bravery of the Ukrainian people.